ó nữa chị chẳng có gió chị biết tôi cũng chạy co ô xì tỏ bạn đi rồi chị biết mà đập ăn là một đá đi tỏ còn là phòng với là đá đó họ mà nó một phòng cũng là nó là một phòng của chị sáng mà mình nhổn ra đây là gió nó chị biết mình chi say là lúc gió nó thì chạy co hậu bạn đi thì tao thì ít chỉ cho ta số số tên tao mà đập ăn cho mình nhổn là đá đây đua
Cha luôn được.
Châu nhớ hồng tỏ nhớ luôn xe thả hẳn.
Army. That's for sale. Daddy said for sale.
Nhớ bộ số chỗ.
The police car with a monkey at the top.
Nhớ hồng chuôn nhớ
No,
hồng
it's
thả
big.
hẳn.
오, nhỏ luôn rồi.
À.
Nhỏ luôn có.
Hey! Oh! Oh my god! Look at his booty. Hey! Hey! Wait.
Chị biết chơi chọn có thả hẳn tỏ nó ô chế. Kia sổ bóng á tao kia hổ đề tao nó. Đó nó ó luôn tỏ nó. Đây một xe đồng trà nữa. Được có tới 6 xe đó. Bé một vừa bí cho xe bé một chả bé vừa tao chị kể rồi nó chị nó có mong mà đi tự luôn có chị bé tao to đó thật sự nó nhỏ có ít mong tự chị bé tao to ít nhịp đi thì cái mình chi sai nó chỉ nhớ hồng tha hẳn kia con tha hẳn kia
Là khỏi gì lại mà nó không có. Đấy.
Ôi chân tàu còn thế mà chị tao cho thằng cơ nó rồi xí thay tua trên này chứ bóng này mà là bây giờ xí mình
thấu gì đấy nè
mà tôi mau có chuyện xí đâu cả
quá xa hết xa thân nữa khỏi gì lại mà nó không có.
Ô, này giờ chó luôn ra, chó bao luôn con cô sao? Để biết mình chi sai là nói biết sao? Thấy gì lại? Ôi nhớ không nhớ bố xấu chưa? Chi sai rồi? Hả? À chị ơi, đây nuôi nó mong cho đây nuôi khi rồi ít chế khó để mà chế khẩu nó mà khẩu luôn mà sai thế gì bao trong sai cắm một con này sao ngủ dậy tao có này cũng là nhớ nó sai thế trong chai chắc họ nằm mò yo cái này có một chỉ lái đi ô nó mà nâng lọ nó cho mà chẳng chai ô nó cho anh liền chỉ chai bé tỏi mình bia bé một chai co thôi bé một chai co không có chỉ một chỉ lái ô nằm mò có tính hình chai ô họ có mua là tôi cháy hả? Bây giờ họ nói tới phía bên trên cỏ rồi tôi nhớ rồi. Chúa tôi đi mấy nỉ bên trên cỏ.
Xếp lại phủ rồi xếp. Xếp lại
đây là xếp lại.
Cảm ơn con khởi bây giờ mà cha. Chủ, exercise. Tôi cho nên nóng exercise rồi ta có cái exercise nó bóp chia to chia cho mấy cái chị có mà tôi nhớ tôi là nhá exercise là được gì sao chùa mới chọn cho mấy cái đi phải phá đó nên lo nào mà hay giờ có một exercise mà căng rồi tôi mới tốn giờ rồi mà nó thiên đó là gì ta có flow gì to gì pin hơi nè tôi chỉ ôm mỏ đồ lớn non nhưng chúng mà chỉ hơi sai nhiều cái bé cái bé một chân go chả đâu mà đã chọn luôn á chuẩn đấy chị bé chơi muốn gì rồi lui gió nó cho bé mà đặt ăn lắm nó là cũng mới có soi thì lưu lớp nó cho nó thế này đây là thay đổi nữa lớp ăn rò khó nè có này nó bây giờ một chân nó nè biết chẳng nhau hôm nào biết chẳng chỉ tao tự mà tu lon na đi ô ra sẽ hở một chân có đó tu lon na đi nó có cái kia tu lon na nữa ta xin lo bên tu nà ta thế phòng tu nà ta đi để bỏ tao khẩu nó bán ăn. Okay, tao nó chỉ bỏ tao khẩu á. Đúng nát tá đi. Cảm ơn phía chờ đó cảm ơn.
cái ta tỏi là ô lại chạy có chế có phải nói chạy dịp lại thì tới chỗ đó chạy cho nó chạy cho nó cho nó mà là tên ý ấy thá hẳn ý ấy một thá hẳn nào cho thá hẳn công thát cho mà chơi chơi cho một trò chứ bò rong đi rong chứ một chi này cả đi chứ cô cả muôn chuyện nè rong chua nó yo tu hồng hào yeah personal
做摩擦海哪个红诶，对哈。这摩擦海哪低边？chị lòng cỏ đó. Ê, một tuột trò đó. Cô tỏ đã đi mua bút bế, không cô. Ừ. Cảm ơn được có người đâu ok. Cô bảo là dầu thì bỏ sẵn đó ôi dầu con. Đây là cái to miếng nè. Cái chọc tường cũng sâu sẵn đó thôi. Đây chọc tường cũng sâu sẵn đó. Cái dầu nó
aboard the World War II amphibious duck, Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin here is one of our 24 fully operational tour ducks that are stored on the left and on the right-hand side in our duck barns. Now, we have these duck barns to keep all of our ducks out of the weather, obviously, because they are very old and they could deteriorate very fast. And, of course, that right there, that third spot from the end, is where Wisconsin parks every single night, all winter long, and on my days off, just whenever we're not taking tours together. Even the elusive Bigfoot or some flying humans. Now, if we don't see any of that wildlife out there today, not a big deal. I'll just tell you guys about my wildlife. Alrighty, we are coming up on our first splashdown. Do you guys want to go fast or slow? 10, alright, I like this group already. Now hold on tight, it is going to be a little filthy right here. And we're going to send her out into the water here. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Lake Sally, everyone. Now here on Lake Sally, I would like to let you guys know how this duck actually works in the water. And it's pretty simple, but most people just don't know about it. Now the way this duck works in the water is we have a propeller in the rear, and obviously the propeller is driven by the motor and transmission, so this engagement lever right here turns that propeller on. It engages that drive shaft all the way out to the back of the duck. That turns that propeller. It's a 45-pound brass propeller, very, very heavy and solid, and that is what pushes us through the water. Now, on top of that propeller, we actually do have 6-wheel drive and high and low gear. So these ducks are normally in 4-wheel drive just because we don't need all 6 wheels putting power to the ground. However, when we are exiting the water, we turn on our 6-wheel drive and low gear, so it'll help us crawl out of the water very easily. Now, obviously, we are getting back to land, so if I could have everyone stay in their seats, that'd be greatly appreciated. Ma'am, sit down. Alrighty, what do you think about that? Pretty fun? Sweet. Who wants to do that one more time? Yeah? Alright, that's awesome because we don't have a choice. Welcome to Lake Sally 2.0, everyone. Now here on Lake Sally, believe it or not, this is home to a lot of natural wildlife, which also includes the Wisconsin summer state bird. Does anyone know what that bird is? That's a new one. I haven't heard tourists before. I like it though. No, it's actually the mosquito. Now we got tons of mosquitoes here on Lake Sally, so at the end of every summer we actually empty out all of our mosquito traps. We put them all in a big brown box, and we send all of those mosquitoes off to Minnesota free of charge. Just like we did with Brett Farr. Anyone here from Minnesota? Oh, you actually are? Anyone here a Vikings fan? Oh, you shouldn't have raised your hand, I'll tell you that right now. Kind of the golden rule in Wisconsin, just don't admit you're a Vikings fan and you're fine. If you admit you're a Vikings fan, you're already signing yourself up for probably not going home. I'm joking. Now we are coming up on our first land obstacle of the day. And that land obstacle is off to the left, known as Sand Trap Hill. Now Sand Trap Hill over here got its name because it is a hill made out of sand, and sometimes the ducks get trapped. If you could not tell, we are very clever at naming things here in the Wisconsin Dells. Now if we do get stuck on Sand Trap Hill today, that is not a big deal at all. I do actually have a plan to get us out. That plan is, all of these strong men and I will move to the rear of the duck, where we will then help lower down all of the women and children. Once they are all safely on the ground, we will then jump back in our seats and cheer them all on as they push us up the hill. Now, a lot of people like to call me a wisecrack when I tell that joke. Well, our wisecrack tipped over. There's a gnome with his butt hanging out under that tree, but he tipped over in the wind. That's kind of sad. Now we are coming up on the public roadway portion of today's tour. And out on the public roadways, we are going to be reaching speeds of up to 35 miles an hour. Now in those high speeds, we are going to be having a lot of wind coming through the duck because we do not have any windows. I don't know if you figured that out yet or not. Especially not a windshield. Now the windshield has one use, and one use only is to shield the wind. So obviously there's going to be a lot of wind coming through the duck, and I do want to warn you guys to hold on to any personal items that you do not want to lose, such as hats, sunglasses, wallets, watches, phones, rings, necklaces, purses, and small children. Now if you guys... As we went around and gathered up about 12,000 dump truck loads of dirt and gravel. Once we got all of that dirt and gravel rounded up, we then went to all of the home and business owners around the lake and asked them to politely set out their garden hoses. Once they turned their garden hoses on at full blast, it only actually took about 2.5 months to completely refill the lake. And that is what we have right now. Ironically enough, those 2.5 to 3 months were the highest, were the record highest water bills in the state of Wisconsin ever.
Sữa thì bé hồ tự ghép cô già nữa, ghép mà làm á, cả ai giống mà nó ra họ ở đây thôi.
to assume that most of you guys know who Robert Downey Jr. is, correct? Yeah, played Iron Man and stuff like that. Now if you guys look off to the left-hand side of this beautiful log cabin, you'll see an infinity hot tub overlooking the Wisconsin River. A bunch of massive windows showing you the beautiful interior architecture of that house, as well as a black bear carved out of a log over top of the front door. Now if you look at all of those things on their own and then turn and look at the whole house all together, you will then notice that that right there is actually not his house. Now a lot of people like to think that some famous celebrity lives there simply because, well, it is a pretty cool house overlooking a river. It's pretty neat, but no, it is actually an Airbnb and we have absolutely no clue who lives there. Because it changes almost every week. As for this house off to the right-hand side, I do actually know who lives here. This house is owned by a man by the name of Bob Dorn. And Mr. Dorn is one of the nicest people in the world. However, I have been instructed to not tell anyone how I know who lives here. So if you guys would like to figure that out on your own, you're more than welcome. I just can't tell you. And there's Bob right there waving to us in the car. Now we are going to be entering the Wisconsin River very shortly, so I do just want to let you guys know that it is going to be pretty bumpy down here. So if you'd all please stay in your seats, that would be greatly appreciated. Sit down, buddy. Alright everybody, welcome to the beautiful Wisconsin River. Now here on the Wisconsin River, we are going to be looking at a lot of rocks. And the first rock we're going to see is off to the left hand side. Now this rock off to the left hand side is known as Lone Rock. And Lone Rock got its name because it is the last freestanding rock formation on the entire Wisconsin River, meaning it is of course all alone. Now obviously there are some cave entrances across Lone Rock. The first one is back there. Looked a bit like an egg. However, this next one is pretty cool. You guys should be able to see all the way through the rock and out the other side. You are going to be able to see a pretty cool shape. Whether it just be the big outline of that shape, or you can see it vividly. That is kind of in the eye of the beholder, but you guys should be able to see it here in just a second. Now, like I said, it is a pretty rough outline, but the shape that most people see there is a bell. Now, my ex-girlfriend told me that this was actually a wedding bell. However, when I told her that I thought I saw a Taco Bell, she did not find that very funny. guys ever ridden a jet boat wave before? Well, you're about to.
Rồi chặt nó. Khó cảm ơn. Rồi chặt nó. Wow. Cái này khờ ra đi đó, thế này.
Off to the right-hand side is our next rock formation. That rock formation right there is twin inkstands. Now, twin inkstands got its name because it supposedly looks like a couple of inkstands that you would have sitting on your desk back in the 1800s. Now, of course, there is a bit of a double meaning to that rock. It also forms a near-perfect natural compass. The rock on the right faces north and south, and the rock on the left faces east and west, and they are only about 3 degrees off of magnetic north in total, meaning they are highly accurate, and the Native Americans actually used this to their advantage. Whenever they were lost on the Wisconsin River, they would simply find that rock right there, and then they would have that sense of direction for wherever they needed to go. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, if they were lost, how did they find the rock? It was just a rock back then. It really wasn't anything all that special. And I mean, they do make a good point, but it's pretty simple to figure out. Simply all you gotta do is turn around and look up on top of that hill behind us, and you will see that they just followed the power lines. To the right-hand side, you guys are going to see a tree that has fallen onto the rocky shore of the Wisconsin River. And that tree right there is full of twisted and crooked branches. So, of course, we did decide to name that right there the government tree. Now, right in front of us here is our next rock formation. That rock formation right there is known as Sugar Bowl Island. Now, Sugar Bowl Island got its name because supposedly it looks like an overflowing bowl of sugar that H.H. Bennett, for some reason, had on his kitchen counter. Now, I have to ask, can anybody actually see a bowl of sugar there? That's what I thought. Now, what I actually see here is a rather large elephant. It just so happens that this is the rear end of that rather large elephant that we're looking at right now. So this one is rightfully named Elephant Booty Island. Now, Elephant Booty Island here is obviously not its actual name. The city of Wisconsin Dells does not like that we call it this, simply because, well, I think they're just a little bit too classy for an assy joke like that. So we are required to still call it Sugar Bowl Island. They just don't know we also call it Elephant Booty Island. left-hand side is Grotto Rock. Got its name because of all the little caves and grottos that go in and out of the rock face here. That first one right there, you guys can actually take a canoe or a kayak through. All the other ones you do have to walk through on foot, but that one is a pretty good way to feel a temperature difference just by going through that cave there. The inside of those caves are roughly 20 to 30 degrees cooler on the inside than they are outside of the rock. Now, of course, the way they actually refilled it, and I know it sounds even crazier, but they did use imported water from a different country. Now, the water off to the right-hand side all comes from Lake Delta. So if you look over there, you will see all of the beautiful Russian water that they used. Now, a lot of people do not like to go swimming in Lake Delta or Dell Creek, simply, because they do not trust what people are pooping. A little bit of maintenance. We bring them in there to our 2 full-time quack doctors and all of our grease monkeys. Now, of course, if we ever have any issues with them, we bring them in there. They get them fixed up in tip-top shape in no time flat. And seeing as we had no issues on today's tour, I'm going to say they did a pretty darn good job. Now, as we approach the dock, I want everyone on the right-hand side.
Giờ đó cũng mới đưa ta làm mua khổng tha hả mua tí một cho tha hả và ta biết một cái thay giả luôn rồi thì nó biết lòng ca biết giả luôn rồi chị biết chơi gọi là sầu nọ chứ chị biết rồi đó một tổ hợp theo đã một đoạn đây được chứ nó đi nó bán nào chẳng nhiều ý là những tụ ice cream nó chứ tên có lo chỉ lo dù họ là luôn chế mua tìm một cho tha hẳn không đâu nó giống rồi dưới cho nè chả có giá chứ đó còn cho thôi như giờ là tao muốn diễn nhiều thôi rồi một trên con lò giờ là những mua cho nó có yếu bái yếu á lâu lúc có phải chứ ít lúc chi đó wow nhưng mà nó chơi ít lúc ở đó thôi mà chẳng ít lúc chi đó thế bố kia xấu cắm à bố kia họ có đi lúc mà màu nè cái xe nó chua đấy chứ không buồn nữa chủ đi ô tiêu tia ô tiêu cảm ơn sao mà mua cơ cảm ơn nó ice cream của ta mà mua